There is a profound truth hidden in the dance between connection and distance, especially when it comes to those who guard their hearts with a fortress of avoidance. To truly awaken desire in an avoidant soul, we must first awaken something deeper within ourselves, a reverence for the sacred balance of freedom and closeness. This journey is not about chasing nor pleading for attention. It is about embodying the magnetic power that comes from honoring boundaries as sacred ground. When you respect their need for space without judgment or desperation, you silently say, "I see you, I honor your rhythm, I trust your timing." And in that sacred trust, a seed of longing is planted, one that grows stronger than lust itself, the soul that withdraws fears being overwhelmed, drowning in the tides of someone else's emotions. To draw them near, you must first become a harbor of emotional stability. When your spirit is steady, unshaken by the storms of insecurity or neediness, you offer a safe refuge. This self-containment is not coldness, but the quiet strength of one who knows their worth without dependence on another's validation. It is a beacon that calls out softly, inviting the avoidant to lower their guard and explore the possibility of connection without losing themselves. Yet, stability alone is not enough. The heart, even one guarded by avoidance, yearns for mystery, for a spark that awakens curiosity and wonder. Here lies the paradox. Be consistent in your presence, reliable like the sunrise, yet unpredictable in the gentle ways that keep life intriguing. Small surprises, subtle shifts in your energy, remind them that you are not a cage, but a dance partner in a fluid, unfolding story. This balance between certainty and surprise becomes irresistible, a magnetic pull that draws them closer while honoring their need to roam. Connection blossoms most beautifully, not in chaos, but in depth. Avoidant souls often retreat from emotional drama, but they are seekers of meaning and intellect. Engage their mind with conversations that transcend surface trivialities. Share your values, dreams, and insights. Invite them into a space where thoughts intertwine and resonate. In this sacred exchange, the heart is touched not by frantic emotion, but by profound understanding, weaving threads of intimacy that endure beyond fleeting desire. Above all, radiate a life filled with purpose and joy. The energy of a soul fully alive is the most powerful attractor of all. When you cultivate your passions, your dreams, and your own fulfillment, you shine with a light that no shadow of avoidance can dim. This vibrant life signals to the avoidant that you are whole, complete, and not defined by their presence or absence. And paradoxically, this freedom inspires the deepest longing, the desire to come closer, not out of need, but out of choice. Remember, this is not a game of manipulation, but a sacred dance of respect, wisdom, and self-mastery. When you embody these truths, you transform the very nature of connection, inviting the avoidant not just to chase, but to embrace a love that honors the soul's need for freedom and the heart's yearning for closeness. This is a love that transcends lust, a divine invitation to union, unfolding in its own perfect time, in the delicate interplay of relationships, especially with someone who tends to avoid emotional closeness. Honoring their need for space is not just a courtesy, it is a profound act of respect and understanding that can transform the entire dynamic. Those who carry avoidance within often experience their need for space not as mere preference, but as an essential lifeline. Their desire to retreat is not rejection. It is a way of preserving their sense of self and safety. When we approach this with wisdom, recognizing that space is sacred ground rather than a battleground to conquer, we begin to unlock the true power of connection. Imagine space not as emptiness or distance, but as fertile soil where trust takes root and grows. When you allow someone the room to breathe, without pressure or demands, you send a silent message of acceptance. I honor you exactly as you are, in your rhythm and timing. This message speaks louder than words because it meets the deep human need for autonomy. In honoring their boundaries without fear or frustration, you create a sanctuary of safety where vulnerability can emerge on their terms. It is here, within this safe container, that the walls of avoidance start to soften. Respecting their space means resisting the impulse to fill every silence or respond to every withdrawal with anxiety or pursuit. It means cultivating patience and recognizing that presence does not always require proximity. Sometimes, true presence is found in allowing the other person to be fully themselves, even if that means being apart for a while. This is an act of love that requires maturity and courage because it challenges the instinct to control or fix what feels uncertain or uncomfortable. When we honor space as sacred, we also allow ourselves to be whole independently. This means not shrinking or losing ourselves in the hope of gaining their attention. Instead, it calls for a deep inner alignment with our own values and desires, so that we become grounded and steady, no matter what the other person does. This self-possession is magnetic because it reflects a spirit that is free, not shackled by fear or neediness. Ironically, it is this very freedom that invites the avoidant to draw near, not because they are chaste, but because they sense a presence that does not confine but expands. The dynamic changes from one of pursuit and withdrawal to a sacred dance where both parties honor each other's rhythms. Space becomes a language of respect rather than rejection. When you do not rush to fill the void, the avoidant's curiosity is gently stirred. They begin to wonder about the quiet strength behind your calm and how it contrasts with the chaos they may have feared. In this unpressured environment, they can explore connection at their own pace, gradually, lowering defenses without feeling overwhelmed. It is important to remember that honoring space does not mean emotional abandonment or cold detachment. Rather, it is an active, loving choice to engage without imposing. You communicate clearly that your care is not conditional on their closeness, but is rooted in a profound respect for their individuality. This subtle distinction shifts the energy from desperation to dignity, from control to trust. It cultivates a fertile ground where the seeds of longing and affection can take root organically without force. In practice, this might look like giving them time to respond instead of demanding immediate answers, or stepping back when they pull away rather than pushing harder. It involves listening deeply to their cues and honoring their unspoken needs. When you approach their boundaries with gentle reverence, you are not just respecting their limits. You are inviting a sacred dialogue where their true self can emerge and be embraced. The spiritual wisdom underlying this is ancient and universal. True connection is not possession, but presence. It honors the mystery of the other, acknowledging that each soul must find its own way to trust and closeness. When you treat space as sacred ground, you become a guardian of their freedom and an anchor of safety. This creates a powerful magnetic force that no coercion can achieve. It is in this sacred balance between freedom and connection that the avoidant heart is drawn closer, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire and trust. Emotional stability and self-containment are among the most profound qualities you can embody when seeking to connect with someone who tends to avoid closeness. Avoidant individuals often carry a deep-seated fear of losing themselves in the emotional currents of another, so they instinctively pull away when emotions become overwhelming or unpredictable. To truly draw such a person toward you, your presence must be like a calm harbor amid the storm, a place where waves may crash outside, but within there is stillness and strength. This emotional steadiness is not about shutting down feelings or becoming distant. It is about mastering your inner world so that your outer presence communicates safety and security. When you demonstrate emotional independence, you reveal a spirit that is grounded, resilient, and self-aware. This quality signals to the avoidant that you are not a source of chaos or neediness, which they often fear. Instead, you become a steady anchor, someone who can hold space for both yourself and them without losing balance. This is a magnetic force that draws rather than repels. It whispers without words, "I am here, whole and complete, and I invite you to join me without pressure or fear." In this way, your emotional stability becomes a bridge, one that gently invites the avoidant to cross from isolation into connection. Self-containment also means cultivating a rich inner life that is not dependent on another's presence for validation or happiness. When your joy and peace come from within, you radiate a confidence that is irresistible. It is the energy of a soul that knows its worth and does not cling out of fear. This freedom allows the avoidant to relax because they sense that you are not trying to consume or engulf them. Instead, you embody a relationship dynamic based on mutual respect and balance. This creates a safe container where vulnerability can arise naturally rather than being forced. In practical terms, emotional stability shows up in how you respond to challenges or emotional triggers. Instead of reacting impulsively or with desperation, you pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully. This calmness diffuses tension and prevents the cycle of pursuit and withdrawal that often characterizes relationships with avoidance. Your composed presence reassures them that closeness does not mean losing control or being overwhelmed, and that intimacy can be an experience of peace rather than chaos. The deeper wisdom here is that emotional self-containment is not about isolation but about integration. It requires embracing your feelings fully, without letting them dictate your actions uncontrollably. When you embody this mastery, you demonstrate that love is not about dependency, but about freedom within connection. This is a truth that resonates deeply with avoidant souls, who often long for closeness, but fear its potential to suffocate. Moreover, emotional stability invites reflection and growth on both sides. It encourages the avoidant to observe their own patterns without judgment, and to gradually open to the possibility that connection need not erase their autonomy. In your steady presence, they can experiment with trust at their own pace, knowing that their boundaries will be respected. This creates a fertile ground for healing old wounds and rewriting the narrative of relationship as a source of nourishment rather than anxiety. Ultimately, embodying emotional stability and self-containment is a transformative gift to yourself and to the one you wish to attract. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of chasing approval or fearing abandonment. Instead, you stand rooted in your own power, inviting the avoidant not to run from intimacy, but to explore it with curiosity and courage. This magnetic energy is far more potent than any fleeting passion. It touches the soul and lays the foundation for a connection that honors both freedom and love in their fullest expressions. There is a delicate art in being both reliably present and intriguingly unpredictable, a balance that holds particular power when connecting with someone who tends to keep emotional distance. Those who are avoidant often crave certainty and safety, yet they also feel trapped by predictability and routine. To truly engage their attention and ignite a deeper curiosity, you must master this paradox, to be unwavering in your consistency while also weaving in subtle, gentle surprises that spark their interest. This creates a dynamic interplay where trust and excitement coexist, drawing them closer without triggering their fear of confinement. Consistency is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, but for the avoidant, it is especially critical. They need to know that you are steady, reliable, and not prone to sudden emotional storms that could overwhelm them. Your dependable presence offers a sense of safety, a quiet assurance that you are someone they can count on without feeling pressured or suffocated. When your actions align with your words, and your availability remains gentle yet sure, you build a bridge of trust that invites them to take tentative steps forward. This consistency tells them you can lean into this connection without fear of collapse. However, consistency alone risks becoming predictable and ultimately dull. The avoidant heart, while protective of itself, is not immune to curiosity or the longing for genuine intrigue. This is where the element of unpredictability, the small, thoughtful surprises, comes into play. These surprises do not have to be grand gestures or dramatic shifts, but can be as simple as a spontaneous message sharing a thought, a new idea introduced during a conversation, or a fresh activity that gently shifts the rhythm of your interactions. These moments break the monotony and invite the avoidant to engage on a deeper level, awakening their natural curiosity without feeling trapped. This unpredictability balances the steady foundation of consistency with the vibrant energy of life's unfolding mystery. It reminds the avoidant that connection is not a cage but a dance, fluid, dynamic, and alive. When you combine these two qualities, reliable presence and subtle surprises, you create a magnetic field that draws them in. They are reassured by your dependability, yet intrigued by the fresh layers you reveal over time, encouraging them to stay engaged and explore the connection further. Moreover, being unpredictably consistent also means that you honor your own spontaneity and growth. You are not merely adapting yourself to fit their comfort zone, but bringing your whole evolving self into the relationship. This authenticity, expressed through both stability and surprise, signals to the avoidant that you are a complex, vibrant individual worthy of exploration. It dispels the fear that closeness means losing oneself, and instead offers the possibility of growing together while maintaining individuality. In the sacred space between predictability and novelty, you invite the avoidant to shed some of their guardedness and lean into the joy of discovery. Each small surprise acts as an invitation to step closer, to lower defenses, and to experience connection as a journey rather than a trap. This stance fosters trust because it respects their need for space, while offering the excitement of something new, creating a relationship that feels both safe and alive. The wisdom here is profound. Humans are wired for both security and adventure. To connect deeply with an avoidant soul, you must offer a rhythm that honors both impulses. This dance of unpredictably consistent presence is a sacred art that transcends simple attraction. It cultivates a magnetic energy rooted in respect, curiosity, and mutual growth, a force far more enduring and transformative than fleeting desire. Through this balance, you become a living paradox, a steady rock that moves with the tides of life, inviting the avoidant not only to chase but to arrive, stay, and unfold in a space where trust and wonder coexist harmoniously. Connection with someone who tends to avoid emotional closeness is often misunderstood as something that must be built through intense emotional displays or dramatic gestures. Yet, for an avoidant individual, such emotional turbulence often triggers withdrawal rather than engagement. Instead, the key to forging a meaningful bond lies in engaging their mind with depth rather than drama, inviting them into conversations and experiences that stimulate their intellect, values, and sense of purpose. This approach cultivates connection on a level that feels safe and enriching, creating a foundation far stronger than any fleeting emotional intensity. Avoidant individuals tend to retreat when emotions become overwhelming or chaotic because they fear losing control, or being engulfed by someone else's needs. Dramatic emotional highs and lows can feel like storms threatening to sweep them away. To connect with them, it's essential to step away from the tempest and offer instead a calm, thoughtful space where ideas and values can be exchanged with respect and curiosity. This kind of engagement invites them to participate without fear, allowing their guard to lower gradually as they realize they are seen and understood on a deeper level. When you focus on intellectual and value-based connection, you offer something uniquely magnetic. You tap into their natural curiosity and their desire for meaningful understanding. This could mean discussing shared interests, exploring philosophical questions, or reflecting on personal growth and life's purpose. These conversations foster a sense of partnership and respect, where both individuals feel heard and validated. The avoidant person is invited not merely to react emotionally, but to contribute thoughtfully, which nurtures a connection that feels both safe and stimulating. This kind of engagement also communicates profound respect for their inner world. It tells them that you value their thoughts and perspectives and that you are interested in who they truly are beneath the surface. Avoidants often struggle with feeling misunderstood or pressured to perform emotionally, so when you create a space free of judgment and drama, you encourage authenticity. Over time, this builds trust as they come to associate closeness not with anxiety, but with acceptance and intellectual companionship. Meaningful conversations also serve as a bridge to emotional intimacy without overwhelming the avoidant person. As ideas and values are shared and explored, emotions naturally arise, but they do so in a way that feels manageable and integrated rather than chaotic. This gradual unfolding fosters a sense of connection that is both deep and sustainable, laying the groundwork for vulnerability on terms that feel safe. The principle behind this approach is deeply rooted in wisdom. Connection is not just about feeling, but about understanding. True intimacy arises when two souls recognize each other's complexity and uniqueness, when they engage in a dance of minds and hearts that honors both thought and feeling. By focusing on depth rather than drama, you invite the avoidant to participate fully without the fear that closeness demands surrender or loss of control. Practically, this means steering conversations toward what truly matters: values, dreams, fears, and ideas, rather than surface-level small talk or emotional volatility. It involves listening actively, asking thoughtful questions, and sharing your own authentic reflections. This creates a rhythm of exchange that is both intellectually rich and emotionally balanced, allowing the avoidant to feel safe and engaged. Ultimately, engaging an avoidant's mind with depth is an act of profound love and respect. It honors their need for space and autonomy, while inviting connection on a level that transcends superficiality. It opens a door to intimacy, built on mutual understanding rather than dependency or drama. In this sacred space, connection flourishes naturally, and the avoidant's heart can begin to trust and lean in, not out of obligation, but because they have found a true companion in the journey of life. There is a magnetic power in living a life filled with purpose and joy, a force that transcends superficial attraction and speaks directly to the soul's deepest longing for meaning. When you cultivate your own vibrant, purpose-driven existence, you emit an energy that is irresistible to anyone, especially to those who tend to keep their distance out of fear or avoidance. This radiant life is a signal that you are complete within yourself, not seeking to fill a void through another, but thriving through your own passions and pursuits. Such a presence invites connection not from need or desperation, but from genuine admiration and choice. Living with purpose means aligning your daily actions with your values, dreams, and passions. It is about waking each day with a sense of direction that fuels your spirit and propels you forward. When you do this, you naturally cultivate confidence, not arrogance, but a quiet knowing of your worth and place in the world. This confidence acts like a beacon, drawing others toward you because it suggests stability, fulfillment, and resilience. To an avoidant individual who often fears engulfment and loss of self, This kind of self-assuredness is incredibly attractive. It promises a relationship dynamic where both partners can be fully themselves without losing their individuality. Joy, too, plays a critical role in this magnetic energy. It is not about forcing happiness or masking pain, but about discovering and embracing the moments that make life meaningful and beautiful. When you cultivate joy, you shine with a light that no shadow of avoidance can dim. Your enthusiasm for life's simple and profound pleasures becomes contagious, inviting others to share in your experience rather than feeling burdened by your presence. This joy signals emotional health and vitality, qualities that naturally draw people in and make them want to be near you. Moreover, a life filled with purpose and joy reflects a soul that is in harmony with itself and the world. It shows that you are not defined by your relationships, but enriched by them. This balance is key when connecting with an avoidant person, who often struggles with feeling overwhelmed by emotional dependence. When you model a fulfilling life that thrives independently, you demonstrate that connection can be a source of mutual growth rather than confinement. This frees the avoidant from the pressure of feeling responsible for your happiness, allowing them to approach intimacy with curiosity rather than fear. The deeper truth is that purpose and joy are expressions of your inner light, and this light is the most potent attractor of all. It transcends physical appearance or superficial charm because it speaks directly to the heart and spirit. When you embody this vibrancy, you are no longer chasing attention. You are receiving it effortlessly because you are aligned with your authentic self. This alignment creates a magnetic field that draws the avoidant closer, not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire to share in your unique energy. Living a purpose-driven and joyful life also invites continual growth and evolution, qualities that keep the connection alive and dynamic. Avoidants are often wary of stagnation and predictability. So your commitment to personal development and exploration signals that you are a partner in an ongoing journey rather than a static figure. This promise of growth invites them to step out of their comfort zones and engage in the dance of life with you, knowing that the connection will adapt and expand rather than suffocate. Ultimately, cultivating a life radiant with purpose and joy is not just about attracting others. It is about honoring your own soul's calling. It is a sacred act of self-love that enriches every aspect of your existence and invites connection from a place of wholeness. This vibrancy becomes a beacon to the avoidant, illuminating a path where freedom and intimacy coexist in harmony. It is this divine balance that transforms attraction into a lasting, soulful bond, one that is far deeper and more fulfilling than any fleeting passion. Thank you for sharing your time and openness with me today. May your journey be filled with clarity and courage. Goodbye for now, and remember, true connection begins within. As we draw this reflection to a close, remember that true connection with an avoidant heart is not about chasing or forcing closeness, but about embodying a presence that honors freedom, trust, and authenticity. When you respect their need for space, cultivate your own emotional stability, blend consistency with gentle surprises, engage deeply through meaningful conversation, and live a vibrant life full of purpose and joy, you create a magnetic energy far more powerful than fleeting lust. This energy invites the avoidant not merely to pursue, but to arrive, willingly, courageously, and whole. In this sacred dance of respect and love, connection becomes a transformative journey where both souls flourish in their freedom and unity. Thank you for allowing me to walk alongside you in this exploration of wisdom and heart. May your path be illuminated with insight, patience, and the deep fulfillment that comes from authentic connection. Goodbye for now. Carry this light within and watch as the dance of true love unfolds naturally in its own perfect time.